Jose, welcome.
Hello, hello, Nikki, Amanda, and Marianne. Good to see you guys.
Jose only knows some of us. He knows all of
Yeah.
us. Jose and his harem. First we had Robert with the harem, now we have you. Okay, let me get over to Jose. So Jose, the reason we all know him is because he is the founder of Connected Leaders Academy, which you're going to hear more about, but I'm going to read Jose's bio. Jose Escobar is an award-winning, nationally recognized personal development speaker, and I believe I heard the word 14-time international best-selling author, most of the time anyways.
Most of the time, but yeah, this has made number 14. So yes, excited.
Look at this. I haven't received my copy yet. And I'm the publisher in Canada. In the US, it's just faster. Everything's just better and faster. So 14-time published author and soon coming with more. Sales professional, husband and father of 5 children and 1 coming on the way, so soon to be 6. How wonderful is that? He leads compelling high-level communities consisting of entrepreneurs and advanced leaders through 2 multi-6-figure business models that have now surpassed 7 figures. We're probably into 8 figures soon. The Entrepreneur's Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy. Jose's magnetic personality shines in his presentations, where he has reached audiences collectively over 30 million and radiates throughout his dynamic coaching programs, inspiring his international 350 plus. Oh, I think we're at 400 by now, aren't we? 400
Yep.
plus.
107.
Yeah, see? Entrepreneurs and executive clientele to match their personal and professional excellence. His past sales experience led him to amass over 30 million in revenue for the companies he served, and this family man's sales and coaching in the martial arts industry has positively affected the lives of well over 500,000 families for the better. Learn more about Jose's products and services at www.connectedleadersacademy.com. And with that, I present to you the amazing Jose Escobar. I need like applause or drums or something. I need to add that in.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Marianne, for having me once again at your amazing Happy Money virtual summit. Super thrilled to be here as always. Your events are just magnificent. You always bring some top-notch, world-class speakers, and again, honored to not only be a speaker here today, but also a sponsor, Connected Leaders Academy, for your amazing summit today. So thank you.
Always a sponsor on my podcast as well. Always a sponsor. Super, one of the most supportive people I've ever met in my whole life. Jose Escobar. Sorry, I had to add that in.
Sure. Alrighty, well, thank you. Excited to be here. So I'm going to dive in. Happy money seems to be the topic of the day, so I'm going to focus around that subject matter. As much as I can go off on a tangent, and I may very well do that along the way, which I tend to do quite often. I just kind of go off, and then I remind myself, wait, it's happy money. Let's circle back to happy money. So I am thrilled. First of all, in terms of those of you who do not know me, because I know we're always getting new viewers here for these these summits that Marianne puts on. So if this is your first time seeing me, then of course I'm going to share some stuff that you guys should know. If you already heard it before, well, maybe get some marshmallows or something meanwhile. But I think, in attention spans, many of you might agree with me, they're like ebbs and flows, highs and lows, peaks and valleys, right? So you might be paying attention, but then you're not, and then you are, and then you're not, and you kind of tune in and tune out when somebody's talking, especially if you've been sitting here from the beginning of today's summit, because I'm sure you've heard many amazing speakers, and it's just hard to pay attention the entire time, right? I know, been there, done that, right? So from some of you might have heard some things I've said before, because I've said it, and you've seen me. This is now your 3rd, 4th, or 5th time hearing me. But guess what? It might be the first time you actually hear me say that particular thing, because you might have missed it the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd time. So For some of you, this is new. For some of you, this is not. And let me just kind of give you a very quick background. First of all, happily married, born in Washington, D.C., raised in Maryland. We have 5 kids, one on the way, as Marianne said, number 6 due in October. 3 boys, 3 girls, very much a family man, very much a man of faith, and very much a businessman, hardworking businessman, very much a servant leader, always looking to add value to those who are in my community, those that I serve. And I always want to make sure I over deliver, and always there looking to what else can I do? How else can I serve? How else can I add value to the people that need it? And how else can I create world change and leave my dent in the world, right? That's what it's all about. So let's see, background in martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing. On the recreational side, I enjoy a nice craft beer and a cigar from time to time. And of course, coffee in my backyard. And then in terms of career, just to give some of you a little background, since it is happy money, I was a branch manager for Capital One, and I was in the banking world for quite some time, doing a lot of banking stuff. I also worked for PNC Bank, and I worked for a life insurance company selling life insurance for quite some time, and that was a unique experience, you know, selling life insurance for National Life Group out of Vermont, which was fantastic and great career. Did that for close to 10 years, if not 10 years. And then, of course, I was in the property and casualty, right? I did some great work for Liberty Mutual and State Farm. That was a long time. A lot of monies were moved back and forth. I produced well over 30 million for the companies I served over many years, and it was fun. It's a great career. And then I decided to go into the martial arts industry. I was the sales director for a global martial arts company called EFC, Educational Funding Company, out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. Did a lot of consulting, did a lot of coaching. I traveled the country quite a bit, did trade shows, all kinds of things, really helping increase the bottom line there, and just absolutely loved it. Met some amazing people. Then I decided to launch my 2 companies, the Entrepreneurs Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy. Entrepreneurs Bookshelf is my coaching, author, speaker leg, right? So I have 5 different courses and programs that I sell. Then I also have, I'm a 14-time published author now, which is 2 of those books actually are with Marianne. So forgiveness is for me, not them, as well as our conversations with the divine, 2 books that I co-authored with Marianne and some amazing co-authors. If you've never co-authored a book before, let me tell you something. If you're a coach and a speaker, you got to do that. You just got to get into some books, right? If you've never written your own book, there's an easy way to get started, and that's called a co-authorship, right? So get some co-authorships out there. Expand your network. Every time you co-author a book, you expand your network, right? And then you get to leverage the fancy titles like international bestseller. Who doesn't want to say they're an international bestseller? I do. I know you do. I'm pretty sure you do, right? So position yourself to win. Part of happy money is positioning yourself to win. You gotta have a plan. You gotta be on the starting line. You actually have to put on the gear, right? If you want to win a Super Bowl, first of all, you gotta apply to get on the team. You gotta say, I want to play. Number 2, you gotta develop your skill sets in that space and say, hey, let me show you what I can do. Show the coaches, hey, I can perform, I can do A, B, and C. Then you get a uniform, you make the team, but you're on the bench. You got to earn your spot. You got to earn your spot on the team. And then you go and you perform. You got to play. You got to be on the field. How many of you are on the field right now? How many of you are playing the game? Many of you might be on the sideline right now. You might be on the bench. Some people might be keeping the Gatorade cold on the sidelines, just bringing the water to the players. Some of you might be the fans in the audience that don't want to get in the game, are just going to cheer other people on and watch them succeed and win in the sport, even though you absolutely love the sport and you love the game and you'd love to do it, but not me. So when it comes to the money game, when it comes to business, when it comes to professional career, you got to be in the game. You got to give it your best shot. You got to be willing to put on the uniform. Are you wearing the helmet and the pads? If we're speaking, football. You know, are you wearing the pads? Do you even have the uniform on? Did you apply to get on the team? Did you make the team? Are you proving yourself day in and day out? Are you putting in the work? There's a famous quote in the martial arts industry I learned from my old jiu-jitsu coach, Master Lloyd Irvin. Shout out to Master Lloyd Irvin from Camp Springs, Team Lloyd Irvin. And I believe that's the signal here, Lloyd Irvin, anybody who knows martial arts out there or jiu-jitsu. He would always say the mantra of his school is hard work will always beat talent when talent refuses to work hard. I'll let that sink in while I take a sip of my Coca-Cola. This is not coffee, it's Coca-Cola. But you know why I drink it out of a coffee mug? Because it's branded. Hello. It's called a branded coffee mug.
I love it. You know what? I actually drink my water out of a coffee cup. Everyone always asks me why, and I go, I just like it. Look at it. It's my branding color. It's not my branded one, although I do have a branded one here for my pens.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Love it. So yeah, branding, that's a whole nother conversation. Again, I'm going off the rails here, but know that that's a ninja secret right there. Every appointment that I get on for a prospect or with a client or anybody, guess what I'm drinking? Who cares what I'm drinking? It's really what's on the outside, right? I could be drinking anything. I could be drinking vodka for all you know, but no, I'm not. It's not Friday quite yet. I'm drinking ice Coke, okay? But most of the time it's coffee or water when I'm drinking out of this mug. But I do it on purpose, intentionally. Branding. Look at what I'm wearing. Yes, I'm wearing this suit jacket, right? But what is visible to you? A piece of my logo, right? Branding. You have to be a walking billboard, which goes back into, are you playing the game? Are you in the game? So as I continue here, I built these businesses, Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, coach, author, speaker. I'm also a speaker. I travel the country all the time, speaking on all kinds of stages. I speak virtually as well here. I have virtual conferences myself, and I also do in-person events. Under the Connected Leaders Academy, my other company, that's a subscription-based model. It's a membership for entrepreneurs globally. 407 paid members, 45 states, 21 countries. We just expanded into the Philippines, which is amazing. Absolutely love it. We're in places like France, Germany, Hong Kong, Pakistan, India, Malta, Costa Rica, New Zealand, Australia, Canada, Peru, Mexico, England, Scotland. I can keep going, but it all started with one person. And the only reason why this grew and scaled is because I was in the game. I was putting in the work. I was putting in the time, right? It's required. Under the umbrella of Connected Leaders Academy, I also, like I mentioned, have live events. I have branded merchandise. Shout out to my merchandise guy, who is the guru of branded merch. He does all of my stuff, anything that can be branded: t-shirts, hoodies, hats, journals, coffee mugs, backpacks, tumblers, pens, you name it. All the stuff that I have that I use and I promote, I have a guy named Robert Schwartz out of New Jersey. He's an amazing CLA member, Connected Leaders Academy member. If you don't know him, reach out to him. He can brand anything from you. He's been in the business for over 30 plus years. He knows all the people in the industry. He gets the best deals, the best prices, the best quality, you name it. He's the guy. I do all my stuff from him. So my encouragement is reach out to him. Enough there. So kudos to you. Shout out to Robert Schwartz out of New Jersey. So, and then branded merchandise. I also have my own anthologies. I said, heck, I'm paying to be in everybody else's books. I might as well get my own, right? We just launched our anthology not too long ago called Dear Younger Me under the Connected Leaders Academy umbrella, right? All these people here are CLA members on the back. Guess what? They had to pay to be in this book. I'm launching a second edition of another anthology under the Connected Leaders Academy, and stay tuned for that. But I'm in that space too now, right? And then lastly, I have a mastermind called the Diamond Club. It's more of a high ticket. Oh, that's another one. That's another CLA anthology right here at Thrive, of which Marianne Padjan co-authored as well. She's right here on the back. As a matter of fact, right, boom, right there. So these are, and we have Catalyze, it's about to launch. So a third one coming out under the CLA umbrella. And then, of course, I have the mastermind I mentioned, much more high ticket. And I'm not going to go into pricing and all the details, but I teach people all of my organic strategies. The reason why I have a mastermind is because I was able to generate 7 figures in 15 months organically in my 2 businesses combined. Now, people said, how in the world, what do you mean organic? How did you do that? Well, that's what I teach people in my mastermind. So that is everything that's happened over the last 15 months for those of you who are new to my world. And for those of you who have already heard this, well, now you heard it again, right? And I said a couple of nice things along the way that might have been valuable to you. But again, I say all that to say that all of this started with the idea that I don't like being broke. Okay. How many people out there, raise your hands virtually if you're out there, how many people enjoy robbing Peter to pay Paul? How about nobody? And if you do, then God bless you. But I'm telling you, it's not a good idea. How many people enjoy robbing Peter to pay Paul? Raise your hand. How many people enjoy having more month than money? Raise your hand. How many people enjoy drowning in financial debt? Raise your hand. How many people enjoy not knowing where your next meal is going to come from? Not knowing whether you're going to be able to make the gas bill or pay the internet bill, or whether there's something's going to get cut off. How many of you enjoy getting debt collectors blowing up your phone multiple times a day? How many enjoy those negative fees on your bank account when your bank account goes negative and they hit you with $35 fees and they just add up? How many people out there enjoy being one day away from being unemployed? I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. And I say this because I have been in every single one of those shoes. Can I tell you, multiple times? And can I also tell you this? I'm not afraid to say it. And I don't care if you know that, because I know what I've been through. I'm not afraid to talk about it because I am real. I am authentic. What you see is what you get. When I say something, you don't have to try to figure out what is he trying to say. I'm telling you directly. I've been broke more times than I can count. I have been in situations where I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay the light bill. I've been in situations where the internet and the TV service and the everything got cut off multiple times because I didn't have the money to pay the bill. I have had car repossession letters sent to my house. I have been audited by the IRS because I didn't have money to pay them. I have had negative bank fees that added, I had like 16 at one time. Bank fees, 35 times 16, do the math. I've had many times where my bank account was negative $500, negative $1,000, negative $300 on stupid fees, donating to the bank, making the banks richer. There's been many times where I robbed Peter to pay Paul. Hey, can I borrow money from you so I can go pay it over here? And then I got to go pay that person back. And then when more money comes in, and all of a sudden I realize I'm spending more money before it even comes into my pockets. And paydays are no longer paydays, they're transfer days. Is anybody resonating with me out there? Anyone at all? Does anybody relate to what I'm saying? Yes, Marianne is raising her hand. Absolutely.
Me, but you haven't filed for bankruptcy and I did. So na.
You went up me. You definitely went up me. I haven't gotten there. And God willing, I will never be there because I have been able to learn some things, right? And before it happened, right? And I know many people that have been through bankruptcy. And again, this is not to shame people or shame myself or be embarrassed about these things. This is just reality. We live in a world where, guess what? You need money. And sorry for the coughing and hacking. I'm recovering from being sick. So I still have a lingering cough, but money is required, folks. Love it or hate it, it is required if you want to survive and thrive, right? But who wants to just survive? How many of you out there want to thrive, right? Like the name of this wonderful book here. How many of you want to thrive and get out there and really maximize the opportunities that are out there. You know, there's opportunity all around us. Do you know that you are one commitment away from absolutely changing your life in a direction where you want it to go? You are one commitment away. Notice I didn't say decision, because you can decide today you want to do something and decide tomorrow you change your mind. I'm not talking about decisions. I'm talking about action backed by a firm commitment that you're all in. You are one commitment away from changing your life. If you don't have the financial resources, you don't have the finances in the bank account like you want it to, you don't have the liquidity of enough income, like for example, an emergency fund, a savings account, right? You don't have investments out there. You don't have a steady income. If you don't have these things, guess what? You can change that, and you can change that today. You can start today, right now. Because you know what these things are? It's not that there isn't money out there for you. Like you happen to be the person that was born and, oh, we ran out of money. The country ran out of money, so you can't have any. No. It is behavioral. It is behavioral. If you don't have money, it's because you're behaving your way into staying broke. You're behaving your way into poverty. You are behaving your way into not having money and constantly dealing with the same financial things. It all goes back down to discipline in terms of your behavior when it comes to money. And it's been said, and you can do the research and read all kinds of books and watch YouTube videos and listen to podcasts and coaches and mentors and go to seminars and boot camps and masterminds and you name it, all the stuff that we all do to invest in ourselves to be better. You can do that, and you're going to hear over and over and over again, if you listen to the right people, they're going to say money is a language. And so many people don't understand the language of money. There is a cheat code to these things, right? I was just talking to an amazing gentleman. I'm trying to look at my notes because I take notes whenever I talk to anybody. And I was talking to a gentleman the other day. Oh, here it is. No, not that one. I was talking to a gentleman the other day. If I can find my notes from our conversation. Yeah. Listen to this. I hope you're sitting down. And shout out to Antonius Wise, former NFL player for Commanders, author, strategist, investor, consultant, speaker, you name it. This guy is amazing, doing some big things in business. I just had a virtual coffee with him the other day. Antonius Wise, right? Amazing guy. He said his friends call him Wise, so I'll call him Wise. He's in the financial world. And you know what he said to me? He said something to me that rattled my brain. And I was like, oh, I almost had to like recover and make sure I'm on the ground, right? Like my stability and my stance was shifted because of what he said. He said, Jose, money talks, wealth whispers. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. If you're here right now and you're watching this, whether it's live or catching a replay, let me tell you something. If you don't take anything else away from today's talk, take that little 4-word statement. Money talks, wealth whispers. Everybody talks about money, and you can get access to making good money, even a lot of money. But the wealthy know something that the non-wealthy don't know, because it's a whispered conversation versus the out loud, accessible to everybody conversation. There is a strategy behind how the wealthy get wealthy. Now, I had some interesting conversations with this gentleman, Wise. I'm not going to go into spill the beans on what we talked about, but he said some things I was like, that is interesting. So remember, money talks, wealth whispers. You got to understand the language of money. You got to understand the strategies of what the wealthy are doing. How money makes more money. It is amazing to me that there's so much information out there readily available to all of us right now. You just got to go out and get it. And most people don't, right? There's a famous saying, it's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep. How many of us have heard that before? It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Talk about nuggets. Talk about golden nuggets, all right? I'm going to say it again. It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations you keep it for. Because it's not just about making money, it's about keeping money. And it's about reinvesting that money to the point where that money makes money. And then you start paying your bills off of the money that was made from your money. Does that make sense? Right? So the money you make, you're no longer using it. It's just being invested, and you're surviving and thriving off of the money that's being made off of your investments. Oh my gosh, what a powerful concept. But the problem is, most people will never get themselves to that level, to where they're able to live that way, because they can't grasp the fundamental 101 basics of paying yourself first and understanding the language of money. So you got to save money. Every time you get a dollar bill, 10 cents should go away to you in a place where you don't touch it. And eventually 15 cents on every dollar. And eventually 20 cents of every dollar. And you want to get to the point where you're saving 30 cents out of every dollar. And if you can get to the point where you're paying yourself 30% off the top of any dollar that comes into your world, that's where the path to wealth is created. But it's not just saving money and tucking it away under your pillow, or getting a big safe and putting it in your house that's fireproof and you just stack it up with dollar bills over the years, or going into a savings account in a bank that pays you 0.001% interest, which is a joke, or going into a CD and putting the money in there, because that's also a joke. The interest rates there are also laughable, because again, there's something called inflation, folks. And if inflation, let's just say, is at 8%, and the bank is paying you less than 1%, and your money sits there for 5 years, after 5 years, did you make money or did you lose money? You lost money, because you're not outpacing inflation. And if you're not outpacing inflation, the value of the dollar goes down, and the buying power of your money goes down over time. So you're just spinning your wheels. $250,000 today is not going to be worth $250,000 10 years from now. So you've been saving money for 10 years. Guess what? By the time you want to start using it, it's not worth as much. It's not going to go as far. So you got to find creative investments, diversification, mutual funds, stocks, 401k. If you have a career, you should be maxing out that 401k. Start there first. And by the way, full disclosure, full disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a CPA. I am not a tax strategist. I'm not a financial planner. So do not go away and do what I said and come back and try to sue me, because I'll say, no, I made a disclaimer saying I'm not any of those things. I'm just telling you some basic things that I have read, that I have heard, that I'm aware of, and that I'm looking to. Some of these things I've implemented, and some of these things I'm implementing. Okay, so I want to be very clear. But let me also be clear that the stuff I'm telling you right now, I didn't read it on a bathroom stall somewhere. Okay, so it is valid information, but again, everybody's situation is different. So your strategy, John Doe, is going to be different than Jose Escobar's strategy, which is why you need to have somebody in your back pocket to guide you in that direction. But can I tell you something? Stop worrying about being wealthy and focus on getting rich. But before you focus on getting rich, put all your energy into being solvent, into having peace of mind, having some level of financial independence. They say you are broke if you lose your job or your business stalls and you lose something of significance, like a house, a vehicle, something along those lines. If you lose it within 12 months, you're broke because your income stopped. You should have things still available to you, like emergency fund, savings, investments with liquidity, so on and so forth. So ask yourself the question, if I lost my business today, if I lost my career and I was fired, how long will you survive without losing something of significance? For some people, it's like, ouch, oof, I don't want to think about that. For some of you, it's like, oh, no big deal. I got it. This is what I would do. This. I have all these different things I could tap into, so it'd be fine. So kudos to you if that's the case. If that is not the case, well, you better start acting. You better start doing something about it. And now is the time. Do you know how many people pass away with no life insurance? A lot. And you know what happens when somebody passes away with no life insurance? Who's going to bury them? Their kids, their friends, whatever. And who has to pay for that? Who's going to pay for that? Right? Let's say you had all kinds of medical bills, $350,000 worth of medical bills, and you had a mortgage, and you have all these. Who's going to cover that stuff? Let's say you pass away and you're married and you have 4 kids. Who's going to replace your income? Who's going to pay the rent or the mortgage? Who's going to put food on the table, for crying out loud? So many people understand and they know it, but they do nothing about it. The 6 P's, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. Can I tell you something? I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but we're all going to die one day. Somebody said there's 2 things that are guaranteed in life: death and taxes. Okay. So, and if you try to evade taxes, well, you know where that's going to end up, so they're going to eventually take your bank accounts and eventually you're going to end up in jail. Okay. So if that's what you want, then so be it. But I will tell you that we're all going to die one day. That's the revelation for today. Okay. We're all going to die one day, myself included, and we don't know when, and we don't know how. We don't know the time, the day, or the hour, or the place, but it's going to happen. Unfortunately, some of us die way before our time. Some of us die way after we thought we would be gone. And some of us live a long time, right? Everybody's different. And then you have to worry about long-term care. If you live too long, that's a problem too. Have you thought about that? Living too long? Who's going to take care of you if you can't afford it? There's something called premature death, and there's something called living too long. So you got to be prepared for these things. And everything starts now. It doesn't start tomorrow. Everything you do, think long-term, because one day long-term will be here. I'll say that again. In everything you do, think long-term, because one day long-term will be here. What are you doing to position yourself to be in the game? What are you doing to position yourself to win? What are you doing to win this financial game of life? Do you think about these things? Most people don't. You know why? Because they put it under the rug. They sweep it under the rug. And can I tell you something? Whatever you're sweeping under the rug doesn't disappear. It's still in your house. It's still under the rug. It doesn't go away. It's still filth under the rug that you're kind of just doing this, right? So I'm telling you right now, if you choose to not acknowledge it, you choose to not confront it, you choose to do nothing about it, it's not going away. At some point, you're going to pay the price. You decide when you pay the price. Do you pay the price now and have less money to maybe go on vacations or go to restaurants or buy Air Jordans or buy that PS6 that's going to come out or buying that new iPhone or saying, hey, you know what, we're going to go and watch the, Commanders game, or we're going to go and upgrade our vehicle to a new vehicle, or how many things there's all kinds of things you can do with money. But the question is, do you have a life insurance policy? Do you have one for yourself? Do you have one for your spouse? Do you have one for your kids? Do you have a savings account? Do you have an emergency fund? Do you have investments in place? Do you have a will? My goodness, these are things that we need to think about. These are things we need to take action on. And when you're doing these things, money is no longer money. Money becomes happy money, which is the theme of today's summit. So, do you want sad money or do you want happy money? I don't know about you, but I want happy money. And happy money comes with discipline. It comes with a plan. It comes with taking action. It comes with consistency. It comes with commitment. If you want that happy money, that's what you got to do. Or you can have the sad, unhappy money. And that's okay too. But just know that that leads to stress. It leads to many gray hairs. It leads to wrinkles. It leads to depression. It leads to anxiety. It leads to frustration. It leads to divorce. It leads to suicide for some people. It leads to all kinds of things. Money, can you believe that? Money, just money. But it's not money in and of itself. It's what money does. Because money is a means to an end, guys. Money is just a means to an end. I am in pursuit of money because money allows me to do things that I need to do, and it allows me to do it at a high level or a low level. Depends on what frequency, what playing field you want to play on. Money's not a bad thing. I've heard all kinds of things that money is evil and all that kind of stuff. I don't buy into all that. I think the love of money is the root of all the love of money. But pursuing money is not a bad thing because we have to in order to survive. And money may not necessarily buy happiness. I don't necessarily buy into that money buys happiness per se, but I can tell you it solves all the petty problems. You know what's interesting? If somebody's head gets put underwater and they're like this, like struggling, and their head is underwater and you're doing that, right? What are they thinking about? What is the one thing on their mind that they're thinking about? Oxygen. Air. I read your lips, Marianne. They're thinking about air. They're thinking about oxygen. That's the only thing. They're not thinking about anything else except oxygen. When somebody is financially in strife, when somebody is financially broke, when somebody is on the verge of losing their vehicle, getting repoed, or losing their home, or losing XYZ, or they're financially distraught or jobless or homeless or whatever, what is the number one thing they're thinking about? Money. Money. So let me tell you something, and you may agree with me or disagree with me, and that's okay. If everybody agreed, the world would be boring. Okay, so I'm not asking you to agree with me. I'm asking you to have an open mind and to hear me out, and to hopefully think on some things after the end of this conversation that I'm having with you. Think about some of these things and ask yourself, where are you on this journey, right? Are you in the game? Are you making things happen? Are you positioning yourself to win? Are you in pursuit of creating a rich life that ultimately leads to wealth? That's what you got to ask yourself. Very, very important. So as I come to a close soon over the next few minutes, I want to stress to all of you, there is happy money and there is sad money. The sad money, the not so good money, is when you're struggling, when you are so frustrated, when you are down and out. It leads to burnout, it leads to overwhelm, it leads to stress. And you know what happens? Imagine a 2x4, right? A 2x4 of wood. If you put it across, let's just say there's a bridge, a metal bridge like this, right? A bridge here and a bridge here, and there's this gap in between. And you put a 2x4 across that bridge, right? And it's just over air, and it's just on the end, right? So just imagine a 2x4 across, and then you start to put cinder blocks in the middle of the 2x4. This is the 2x4, and you're putting cinder blocks in it. What starts to happen to the 2x4 as you're putting cinder blocks in the middle? As you see my hands, it starts to go down, 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 down to the point where it snaps. At some point, the 2x4 is going to snap because it cannot maintain the weight. It cannot handle the weight of these cinder blocks in the middle of a 2x4 because scientifically it's just too heavy, and it's going to at some point break and snap. Same thing happens with you. Same thing happens with me, with us, humans. We can only handle but so much. And if you're under way too much stress, under way too much anxiety, at some point you're going to snap, like that 2x4. And my battle cry and encouragement to all of you that are watching this, whether it's live or in person or virtually or live right now or on the replay, my battle cry, my encouragement to you is to prepare yourself now to win. Do not allow yourself to fall victim to this stressor due to finances, because it will come. And it breaks and folds all kinds of people, some of the best in the world. So I want to encourage you to consider that. And I also want to encourage you to know that there is a great mentor of mine that told me this. He said, Jose, you are where you are right now in your life because you choose to be there. Oh man, what a bitter pill to swallow. You are where you are right now in your life because you choose to be there. You don't have to agree with it wholeheartedly. I take extreme ownership. Every decision that we make, small or big, compounds over time, like the compound effect. So if you make a bunch of financial decisions that are not sound over time, it's going to lead to massive debt. It's going to lead to being broke. It's going to lead to all kinds of negative things because it will show up and it will present itself at some point. So the 11th commandment, thou shalt not fool thyself. Don't fool yourself into thinking you're doing well when you're really not. Right? You might be able to fool the world, but you can't fool yourself. You got to be real. You got to be all in. And one advice that I will give you, first of all, if you're out there and you're having some financial trouble right now, and you want to start making happy money to where it leads you to being rich and then leads you to wealth, wealth is the next level. Let me tell you something. Stop focusing on being wealthy and focus on sweeping in your front door on the basic 101 fundamentals consistently with discipline over time. And eventually that's going to lead you to getting rich. And eventually when you're rich, now you have the resources and the knowledge and the connections and the extra money to then become wealthy. There's a difference between rich and wealth. Remember, money talks, wealth whispers. There are secrets out there. There are strategies that you got to find out, and that comes with moving up the ladder over time. This is a great book for those of you who are looking to start somewhere. If you're looking to start somewhere to create happy money, Dave Ramsey wrote this book called The Total Money Makeover. This is where my wife and I started to put our finances in order. It's a phenomenal book. As you can see, there's all kinds of little sticky notes in here, all kinds of highlights and underlines and you name it inside of here. Really, really powerful book. And it talks about the snowball strategy of how to get yourself out of credit card debt, A lot of cool stuff in here. And a couple of things I wanted to share with you from this book. First of all, one of the things here, it says, the number one cause of divorce in America is money fights and money problems. Boom. I said that earlier, right in here. A lot of statistics, and it tells you all the data that's in here. The next thing is, let's see here. USA Today reports that 1 out of 100, the USA Today reports that out of 100 people age 65, so if you have 100 people age 65 in the US today, 97 of them cannot write a check for $600. I'll say that again. Out of 100 people in the US today at the age of 65, 97 out of 100 65-year-olds in this country cannot write a check for $600. 54 out of those 100 are still working at 65, and 3 are financially secure. Only 3 out of 100. And then let's see here. I have 2 other things I'm going to share with you out of this book here. Let's see here. Oh yeah. This is a powerful statement. I want you to absorb this one. When your money makes more than you do, you are officially wealthy. Oh boy, that's a good one. When your money makes more than you do, you are officially wealthy. It's a golden nugget. And anyway, really good book that I highly recommend. The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey here. And it comes with a workbook and all kinds of cool things like that. So there is that. And I'm going to recommend here a couple of biographies, right? I believe in autobiographies, memoirs. We should be learning from the wealthy. We should be learning from the people that have come before us. You know why? Because when you read a book of somebody who's successful, you know what you're essentially doing is you're downloading 20 years, 30 years of experience, positive and negative, mistakes and successes. You are downloading all of that experience into 1 week by learning from the people that have gone before you. A mentor of mine once told me, Jose, if you're going to walk through a minefield, follow somebody. Don't be the first one out the gates. Follow somebody so you know where not to step. Right? So same concept here. Same concept here is there are so many books out there today readily available at a local library where you don't have to pay. There are so many books in Barnes & Noble in the biography section, in the self-help section, personal growth, business section, that are so untouched. One of the least touched areas in bookstores, readily available to you to download 20, 30, 40 years of massive success into a week or a couple days, depending on how fast you move. Why are you not taking advantage of that information? Oh, I don't have time to read. BS, if you ask me. We all have time to read. We all have 24 hours in a day. You're not reading, not because you don't have time. You're not reading because it's not a priority to you. Because last time I checked, if something is a priority to you, you're going to create the time to make it happen. And if it's not on your planner, if it's not on your calendar, more than likely it's not going to get done. Reading is a part of my non-negotiables. It's a part of my morning routine. It's a part of my evening routine. It's a part of who I am, my fibers of my being. It is on automaticity, reading. So if you want happy money, one of the secret sauces, besides understanding the language and doing the research and doing the fundamental one-on-one things you're supposed to be doing every single day, it's also who can I learn from? So I'm going to show you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 biographies that I own, that I have read, and I encourage you to read them. And then I'm going to turn it back over to Reverend Dr. Marianne Padjan. Okay, first of all, there's this one here. Elon Musk. Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. Walter Isaacson is one of the best authors out there when it comes to memoirs, biographies, that type of thing. Amazing. Elon Musk, super brilliant, crazy life story, really good stuff in here. Elon Musk. Next, Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He has a new one called 7 Tools for Life. That's not really his biography or autobiography. That's just a book he wrote recently, which is a great book as well, which I highly recommend. Arnold Schwarzenegger's new book. That one's called Be Useful. It's called Be Useful, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But this one is his story. This one's called Total Recall. So my kids put a sticker on here, sorry. My unbelievably true life story. Really, really good stuff. Definitely a thick read. It's more like a March Mammoth kind of book. If you're wondering what the heck March Mammoth means, every March I pick up a book that's at least 400 pages or more. Any book that's more than 400 pages is considered a mammoth, right? A mammoth of a book. So in the reading world, we call it March Mammoth. So every March we find a fat, juicy book we would probably normally not read, and we commit to reading it in the month of March. So March Mammoth, this is a good one for that. But Total Recall. And then we have the Snowball, Warren Buffett. Snowball, Warren Buffett, and this one is called The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life by Alice Schroeder. Really, really powerful book. Tons of golden nuggets in here. Really, really strong. Next, we have here Trailblazer. Fantastic. Trailblazer. And this is The Power of Business as the Greatest Platform for Change. All right, founder and CEO of Salesforce. This guy is the founder and CEO of Salesforce. Brilliant, brilliant guy, ultra successful, really good book to read. Next, we have Open. Open by Andre Agassi, one of the best tennis players in the world of all time. An autobiography. I believe there was ghostwriting involved in this one. The same ghostwriter who wrote who helped, there was another, I forget, but really, really awesome book here, Open, and this is Andre Agassi's story. These are all successful, wealthy people. That's who you need to be studying. You need to study the rich, the wealthy, in order to understand how they think, to understand what they do, to understand where they failed, to understand the executive decisions they made, all of these things. Next is Rick Ross. This one is called Hurricanes, a memoir. Love him or hate him, I don't really care. That's not the point, right? This guy started out as a rapper out of Florida, Miami. Now he is a multi-millionaire going on billionaire. Do the research. This guy is super wealthy right now. He's crushing it. And he has so many different businesses, acquisitions, you name it. He wrote another book that just came out not too long ago, like a year ago, that I have back there somewhere. It's called The Perfect Day to Boss Up. That's another really good book that he has. But this one, Rick Ross, brilliant, brilliant book. And the last one I'm going to share with you guys is Steve Jobs, also by Walter Isaacson. Again, the point here is not, do I believe in their values? Do we line up with our virtues? Are these good people? Do I agree with their political or religious philosophies or backgrounds? Who cares? That's not the point. The point is you got to be learning from these people that have come before you so you can go out there and crush it in life too and turn sad money into happy money, right? And happy money comes with discipline. It comes with information, knowledge, application of the information, with consistency and full commitment to make those decisions over time. Pay yourself first. Read the Total Money Makeover and get started there if that's where you're at. But the point is, in life, you are where you are because you choose to be there. You can change. You can start creating that wealth, creating that amazing lifestyle, the financial independence, if you so desire. And it starts with making that commitment. It starts with putting into work, and it starts today. It doesn't start tomorrow. It starts today. And guess what? It is up to you. It is completely up to you. Take it or leave it. I hope I inspired some of you. I hope something I said was of value to you. And go back and rewatch what I said. Rewatch what I think about the life insurance things I talked about. Think about emergency funds. Think about savings. Think about investments. Think about, surviving off of the money that your investments make versus the money that you actually make, right? A lot of stuff there, a lot of stuff there. And I had some great mentors in my life, which I'm grateful. I can list tons of names that I've learned from, but you got to position yourself to do that. Remember, stay a white belt always. Stay a white belt always. Be hungry to learn. Be hungry to get around successful people. And at the end of the day, when you look back on your life, you're going to be proud of the decisions you've made. All right. Take care. God bless. Thank you again, Marianne, for having me. Good to see you, Sifu Raphael. I'm excited for your talk, and we'll talk soon.
We're going to be talking about banks, so feel free to stay, but I think you have to go, so I don't think we have a choice. And thank you again so much for such an awesome talk. It doesn't matter. I listen to you all the time, and there's always something to learn. There's always something new. I always write down all your lists of books. I just finished going through The Richest Man in Babylon, which because I have to do Audible, like there's just so little time to read, although I do enjoy sitting and actually, or lying down usually if there's an opportunity for that with my feet up and reading a book. That's like a real vacation thing to do. Right? So cool. And coffee's so good. I'm not a beer drinker, but I am a hardcore coffee addict. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming, even though I know you don't feel well, and I know you have 68,000 things to do, and you have to let go of a talk to be here. So I super appreciate you. Thank you so much. As always. Where's mine now? I forgot. Okay. Thanks, Jose. Have a great day.